Good day, everyone. Good day. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Well, it's Wednesday, and what do we do here on Wednesday? Well, we've kind of narrowed down the title Entertainment and Leadership. Entertainment and Leadership. And entertainment, I'm talking about movies, television, videos, the internet, the whole nine yards, anything dealing with entertainment and leadership. And so I plucked something out of that plethora of that cornucopia of information, of entertainment, of knowledge, wealth, and well, skills, and a little bit of everything, whatever we can find. And there's some great gems out there, and I'm going to talk a lot about them. And the sector I want to talk about today is motion pictures. Even more valuable diamonds in the rough and diamonds there as well that shine up. But one that really stands out, and one I saw again today for the first time in quite a long time, was Porck Chop Hill. Porck Chop Hill. It's a 1959 movie starring Gregory Peck. It also had George Peppard. Remember him from the A-Team? Love it when a plan comes together. That guy. Had Norman Fell. Norman Fell, if you don't know Norman Fell, Mr. Roper from the original Three's Company. He was Mr. Roper. Robert Blake. He played, I forgot his name, the character's name in The Little Rascals, the Little Rascals shorts. But then he also went on to fame, notoriety, when he became Beretta, a character on television. He was a cop. And it was Robert Blake as Beretta. Then he went into infamy and, well, sadly, yes, the dark side. And that was when his girlfriend was shot and killed. They accused him of it, but they couldn't prove it. And now he's just kind of off in the shadows now. But again, I digress. So just that's what happens. But this movie, Porck Chop Hill, set during the Korean War, down near the end, once near the end, not at the end, but near the end of the war, the peace talks had already resumed, had begun in Panmunjom, South Korea, and the North Koreans, South Koreans, they were fighting for communism and freedom and the whole nine yards. It was the Cold War, folks. It was the Cold War. Well, in this movie, Gregory Peck plays a lieutenant. He plays a lieutenant. He's in charge of leading this group, this company, up Porck Chop Hill. And as they're fighting their way up, well, prior to that, all the troops that he leads know, and they're aware that the peace talks are underway. None of them wants to die because the war could end 5 minutes after they're dead. And what good would that do for them? So nobody wants to die. Everybody's kind of apprehensive about going and moving on and doing what they need to do, and doing their job as infantrymen, but yet they got to go up that hill. So they start going up the hill. The leadership here, Gregory Peck he also knows the situation. He knows that it's going on. It's why do they want this hill? Why do we have to take it? Why do the North Koreans want it? And at this point, the Chinese are involved. So now there's the entire the People's Chinese Army, that they're all involved along with the North Koreans, and it's all about communism at that point. And why do they want it? It's just an inconsequential piece of land. The peace talks have already determined kind of a baseline of where the division between North and South is going to be, where the hostilities are going to end. But right smack in the middle of this is Porck Chop Hill. So that's setting that tone of what's going on. So as they're working their way up the hill, it's a long struggle. It's an uphill battle. Literally, it's an uphill battle. And you've got some individuals that, they're there to fight. They want to fight. They're doing what they can. The Robert Blake character lost his weapon in the initial assault, and he's out there trying to find his weapon. He gets injured. The captain or the guy in charge sends him on a mission. He gets injured on the way back. The Gregory Peck character sends him down to the medics to get patched up. He's out of it. He can't fight anymore. Next thing you know, the Robert Blake character is back up there. He wants to fight. He sends him back down. And somewhere along the line, as the movie progresses and the major battle and the hill eventually gets taken, everybody, that company that Gregory Peck is leading is coming off the front lines. They're coming back downhill when all of a sudden he's joined by the Robert Blake character coming down the hill with him. So somehow Robert Blake, the character, made it back up the hill and entered the fight. You also had other individuals that didn't want to fight. They didn't want to die, and they were quite adamant that they were not going to do this. So what happens? It almost gets to the point of desertion. It almost gets to the point where there's going to be a thing called fratricide. Fratricide is when somebody kills somebody of their own unit, their own side, their own army. Fratricide. And It almost gets to that point, but it doesn't work out because Gregory Peck's leader, as a character, as a leader, explains that, look, this has got to get done. There's nothing you and I can do. Whether you die today, right here, right now, or you die at the top of the hill, the way things are going, we're all going to die. And so he lays it out for you. He pulls no punches. He says, look, we know it's an unwinnable battle. We know it's a tough situation, but it's still got to get done because that's what we do. That's our job. That's what we're paid to do. That's what we're hired to do. That's what we're told to do. That's why we're here. And if it means that we take this hill and we all die, then that's what happens. Now, they're not throwing down their arms and giving up. No, they're not going without a fight. They're going to fight all the way through. So as Gregory Peck leads these men up a hill, up an uphill battle, eventually they win, they get the reinforcements, they get the supplies, and they take the hill. Again, it's no situation's unwinnable. There's always an option. And yes, it might look meek, it might look bleak, it might look gray, it might look sad, it might look like the end is nigh or is here. But there's always one more thing you can do. And in this case, in this movie, in Porck Chop Hill, it shows there's always one more thing you can do. There's always something that can be done. And sure enough, even if it means calling back to the headquarters and saying, look, we don't have the supplies. If you can't supply me, get us off this hill because we don't have enough. And the leader, the character did that in that movie. Great example of a leader under stress, under duress, under difficult situations, under unknown, constantly evolving situations. And another situation, you have the enemy not just bearing down on you, not just bearing down on you in superior numbers, but there's also several scenes where the enemy has a loudspeaker system set up in the on the mountainside, and they're just badgering, they're calling out that unit, specifically that unit, the unit's name. How does somebody know? And where they were coming from and where they're going, and this is going to be a difficult battle, and you have 45 minutes to surrender, or it's just going to be a million Chinese that are going to pour over the top of the hill and destroy you. So you have this leader that's just constantly being stressed. But guess what? He holds his own, he keeps his own, and he keeps his team motivated, he keeps his individuals, his followers, his men moving up that hill until the very end. And once he knows that he's achieved it, relief's on the way, ammo's on the way, food's on the way, everything he's asked for, the support he's asked for is on the way, then privately he just relaxes and lets go. That's what a leader does. Sure, he's happy, but at that same moment he's also relieved that this nightmare is about to end. And sure enough, he comes down off that mountain and his men come off the mountain. Not all of them, because there are casualties in war, but in this case, the ones that come off him were the important ones. And the ones that stayed on the mountain were the important ones. And in real life, those that fought for Porck Chop Hill, all of them were important. Because again, it was a turning point of not just the war, it was a turning point for the military and its leaders. It solidified, again, another classic example of why leaders in the military are by far the best leaders in the world. So folks, check it out. It's Porck Chop Hill, 1959, starring Gregory Peck. Check it out. It's a great movie. It's about an hour and a half long. It's great, great lessons. So listen, I'm Dave Guerra. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you tomorrow. And we're doing lessons in leadership tomorrow. Talk to you then.